Thank you for joining me. Yes, you heard right. I am a huge junkie and an alcoholic, and I'm here to talk about it. And nobody can tell you if you have a problem. The family, your friends, consequences might have been had. All of that stuff might have occurred, but nobody can make that decision first step. Now, when I was in my active addiction, there were instances that I remember reporting to my sponsor. Like, yeah, I was arrested before. I've been arrested. I was actually arrested for prostituting. But the actual on paper arrest was for trespassing because the hotel that we were staying at, me and my friend were trapping out of, they called in the morning because I was so blasted the night before. Me and my friend were drinking Pinnacle. And she'd come home and be like, oh, like I made all this money. And they were like in the bathroom, like, yeah, like we're queens of the world, like selling our hoo ha, woohoo. In this place we don't freaking live in. And come to the next morning, hung over as to the cops banging on our door. And me just turning around very calmly to my friend and being like, yo, the cops are here. And she thought it was so funny how calm I was. I was like, because I was freaking blasted. That's why. I was 4 sheets to the moon. And we were in that cell. But I remember the cops checking me in and being like, do you want to hurt yourself? Are you suicidal? And I was like, no, I love myself. And my sponsor thought that was so funny of me to say, like, I love myself. In the middle of my active addiction. And I don't, honestly, you guys, I don't judge anyone. There's a certain point where it's just like, I did everything. I did everything you could possibly think of. I feel like I've lived like 7 different lives in one lifetime. But ripping and running like that and literally hugging the toilet in that jail cell the entire day. And then towards the end, coming to and just singing to everybody in the jail cell. Like, I'm on a journey. Experience is everything. So nobody could tell me that I had a problem. I had to experience time and time again, repetitively. And my higher self had to wake me up. It was not me that was going to wake me up at all. And yeah, me wanting to get out of my situation with my pimp, I was stripping at the club. I decided that maybe was a better fit for me because every time I went out of town to trap, I always freaking got caught. It was crazy. But so I was stripping at the club and my pimp helped me get this place downtown. I always wanted to live in a downtown area, and I would give him money every morning. I would have to check in with him. I would hand him over all my money. He would give me enough money for weed. And anytime I wanted to go party, I would just call him and ask him for some money. He had a different Bugatti and Maserati he was coming up with every week. He had a lot of girls. And yeah, I just ask him for money for here and there stuff, but I was basically like working to give him all my money. So once I met my coke dealer and I went out of town to Vegas to strip, almost died in the club. My craving for home was very evident, and I reached out to my coke dealer, and I just I wanted to hang out with him. I didn't want to just buy coke. I wanted to hang out with him. So we started doing HGH, and that was a crazy experience. I almost died. He had to keep me from vomiting, from dry heaving and suffocating on my own vomit. Sorry, broken nail. Yes, fucking haggard, like this is me. So yeah, I fell for my coke dealer, and I fell for that lifestyle. It got me again so much fun, so much fun. Near death experiences. I won't even talk about the bunions on my feet from all the high heels and click clacking around downtown, walking blocks, just drunk off my ass, feeling numb. But my feet, my body keeps the score. The mind will keep in delusion and the body pays the price. So yeah, that was my first baby dad, was my coke dealer. And I remember just so blasted one day after this fun festival at Hard Rock Hotel every summer. Every Sunday it was rehab. We went to the party, but it was the party. It wasn't real rehabilitation, but it needed to be. For me, I needed it. But no, it was a party rehab. And I remember him just like pouring me into a taxi on the way home, and I was just like so blasted from all the chemicals in my body. And I'm just like, I love you. And that was like, the truth, like I just felt like I loved this guy, and he went on this journey to eventually become a sober mom. The sober mom you see here for you today. Nothing will ever take away or cure me of this disease. And nobody wants to face it. Nobody, are you kidding me? Nobody willing goes to AA. Nobody willingly steps in the rooms of a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Come on. They got their blue court cards to sign. They got their drug court. They're mandated, right? I may have loved other people, but I never loved myself. Maybe a little bit. I just wanted to feel good. This disease will lie to you and tell you that you don't have it, that you don't have a problem. This disease will keep you in an endless loop and an endless cycle until either you're dead or hospitalized or in a psych ward. That's where people like us end up. Or if you're really lucky, in a sacred meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. If we're lucky. I have a disease of perception that brings about a lack of spiritual power. So I told my new boyfriend, he was big and strong, you guys. I mean, my baby daddy, bodybuilder, just 300 pounds of pure muscle. He trained other people for bodybuilding, for competitions and stuff. Working out with him, being with him, gym 4 hours a day, my body was better than ever. It never looked better when I was with that guy. He knew how to work me out. And yeah, I asked him to help me. I wanted to be released from my pimp. So came over one night and I called my pimp to come over. I lured him there. Actually, like, I hadn't talked to him in a while, so I kind of like flirted with him and I lured him there and I was like, we've never done the deed, like, come over. And my boyfriend darted out of the room, grabbed the grabbed the two chains around his neck and was like, yo, never come around or hit up my girlfriend again. And I was like, my hero, that's him, my hero. At this time, he wasn't my baby dad. He was just my boyfriend. Eventually, I married the guy at court, a little quickie on a rainy day. So, yeah, no all-star cast, no scripts, no budget in the soundtrack of my life. Just drugs and violence, sex and crying. I would instigate fights with him. Tell me if you can relate, ladies. Fucking and fighting and fucking. Does that make life exciting? Does that bring spice to your relationship? For me, it did. And this was the first guy that actually wasn't abusive towards me, but I instigated him. I was such a spicy Latina. I would post all his buttons, but he never hit me. He's not in our child's life, and our child, knows it, and she honestly, she hates him. But this is about this disease that if you can get this, if you can get the first step, that's it. That's just it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Had it. Wave that white flag and tell the universe that you need help. Hi, I'm Danielle, and I think I'm an alcoholic. I think I have a drug problem. I think I have a chemical dependency problem. And I want to stop, but I can't because every day is so heavy and so miserable. This dense, boggy reality makes me crave what I love to do.